is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome to the lockdown coverage, week number 12 in the National Football League. Miami Dolphins at home taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Losers of 9 straight ball games are the San Francisco 49ers, but they look like a different team with Colin Kaepernick at quarterback, and he's starting to get it back. And so all of a sudden now, the 49ers don't seem like the pushover they were maybe a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago when Blaine Gabbert was the quarterback. So if you're the Dolphins, don't fall into the trap of thinking, 1-9 49ers, going to run over these boys and get our 6th win in a row. Go and take care of business, though. And so if you're the Dolphins, a lot in front of you. Patriots, they don't scare anybody these days. They're going up against a family member in the Jets. They always struggle with the Jets. Maybe they lose and drop to 8-3. You win, get to 7-4. Looky here. Look what we got in front of us. The division staring us right in the face, one game back. Not saying, just saying, hey, Dolphins, what about those Broncos out there? Somebody's got to lose, right? Kansas City, Denver, somebody's got to drop to 7-4, right? Right? Maybe, maybe not. Could have been a tie. Who knows? But look, conventional wisdom says that somebody's got to lose that game. Sunday Night Football. You win, go to 7-4. One of them loses, drops to 7-4. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, take care of yours, man. Take care of yours. So, big game for the Miami Dolphins and for the San Francisco 49ers, just trying to get off the schneid. You win your first one, you lose 9 straight. Damn, can we get one? They're just trying to get off the schneid. So, and again, with Colin Kaepernick at quarterback, they're not out of ball games. They proved that last week against Arizona, going down to the wire there. They proved it again this week. Look out for the 49ers. Not saying they're going to win a ton of games. I said the same thing about the Bears earlier in the season. They're not going to win a ton of games, but they're going to be in games. And now with Colin Kaepernick at quarterback, I'm telling you, I think they might have found their quarterback again in San Francisco, especially if Chip Kelly's going to remain the head coach there. I don't think they need to look any further than what they have in number 7 at the quarterback position. We'll talk about that a little bit more in this breakdown. But first, before we jump into the breakdown, let me just quickly say, subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content. If you haven't already done so, hit that red subscription button on YouTube, Louie Tee Network. Subscribe. Also on Twitter, @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. Go ahead and follow me there. And I'm also on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Give me the like and the thumbs up. All my social media platforms, right up above, in that box in the middle, scrolling across the screen so you can't miss them. Go ahead, like the Facebook page, follow me on Twitter @InTheLabRoom, and subscribe to the Louie Tee Network. Let's jump into this breakdown. Likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe. Road team, we start with them first. The likes in the first half, of course. I'm talking San Francisco 49ers football. Let's jump into their likes in the first half of this game. Impressive opening drive. 8 plays, 62 yards. And they moved it right down the field. Cap used his legs and his arms on that possession to get them into the end zone. Carlos Hyde with a nice catch and run to get into the end zone. And I said, okay, let me find out. 7-0. 49ers up early in this ball game. That would be the last that we would hear of them scoring in the first half of this game. But it was an impressive touchdown, that's for certain. And the other like in the first half, Cap's legs. Cap would go off for 113 yards rushing on 10 carries in this ball game, about 70 or 80 of which came in the first half of this game. He was dynamic using his legs, and this is what we envisioned when we thought about Chip Kelly bringing his spread offense to the NFL. This is exactly what we thought about. I know I can't speak for you out there, so let me retract that statement and say that's what I envisioned it being. That's what I thought about when I saw Chip Kelly coming to the NFL. I said, if he could ever find a quarterback like Marcus Mariota, the first name that rolled off my tongue, Colin Kaepernick, I said that would be a marriage made in heaven, because that's exactly the type of guy he needs to run his offense. You want to run read option, you want to make that defensive end respect that quarterback. Blaine Gabbert isn't going to do that for you. No one's afraid of Blaine Gabbert coming out the back door, okay? But you got to be afraid and respectful of what Colin Kaepernick can do with that football in his hands. And you saw him in this game take off time and time again, make defenders miss, keep his balance, stay in bounds, get what was there. He was dynamic with his legs. And again, the arm is coming along slowly. He's starting to fire that football in there. And yeah, there are no receivers out there that should scare you in San Francisco. But if they can get their hands on a couple of guys in the offseason, whether it be via free agency or the draft, you could look out for a 49ers offense that could become dynamic once again. Remember, in his heyday with the 49ers when they were winning, there was Bolden, there was Crabtree, there was Vernon Davis. There were targets out there for him to get the football to. That's not the case right now. The best guy he's probably got to get the football to right now is a tight end by the name of Vance McDonald. So a lot of what you're seeing manufactured offensively for this 49ers football team is coming from Colin Kaepernick. But we're going to talk more about Cap in the second half of this game. But his legs were a huge part of the success of the 49ers in the first half. And hell, throughout the course of this game. You go to the first half likes for the Miami Dolphins in this game. A deep ball from Tannehill to Parker, 55 yards, sets up a 2-yard Jay Ajayi touchdown. And J-Train strikes again. And they didn't have anything going offensively until that deep ball. They were deep in their own territory. And Tannehill rips it loose. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, Devontae Parker, man, he's special. We'll talk about all of those guys a little bit later on because they were on my likes list in the second half. So I'll save that for then. But that was a big play because it got the offense jump-started. They were pretty much quiet until that point. And after that deep ball, I thought that's when they started to kind of get things going and getting into a rhythm and a flow. They get into the end zone on the Jay Ajayi touchdown and knocked the game up at 7. And then they took off from that point, scored some points, and really started to get things going offensively after that. The forced fumble of Garrett Selleck is on the likes list. Great play by the Dolphins there. He's got the football. There are about 3 Dolphins around. One goes in, lawnmowers it out of there, and they recover the football. And that was a scoring opportunity for the Dolphins. So not only do you take points off of the scoreboard there for them, or a potential scoring opportunity for them rather, but you also get the takeaway and give your offense an opportunity to possess the football. So that was a big play there. And they would also get a touchdown off of that turnover. They would turn that turnover into points as Deion Sims would get into the end zone using his big frame to box out the defender and get into the end zone. And so boom, just like that, it's 14-7. So Dolphins creating turnovers and then creating offense off of those turnovers. That's what the good teams in this league do. Dolphins starting to figure some things out, and that's what winning is all about. I talk about winning being a confidence builder and confidence being a builder of winning. It's a vicious cycle that I always talk about. It's a vicious and beautiful cycle that the good teams in this league go through, where they win, which begets confidence. Confidence begets winning, and it just goes around and around and around. And that's what you're seeing from the Dolphins right now. Earlier in the season, they weren't creating these turnovers. They weren't making these plays. They weren't taking turnovers and turning them into points. But when you start winning football games, you become confident. You expect to do these things. These don't come as surprises to you. You expect to do these things. And when you're on a 6-game winning streak, these are the types of plays that you make, especially against teams you're supposed to beat. You're supposed to do these things to them, and that's what they did here in the first half, taking that 14-7 lead. And you go to the second half of this game, you go to the first half dislikes, and we go back to the 49ers. The Garrett Selleck fumble was the dislike for me in the first half. Really didn't have much to harp or complain about. Thought the defense was okay. It wasn't great, but I didn't think it was bad enough to complain about. Neither the offense. They had the one good drive, but then they bogged down after that. But the Garrett Selleck fumble took away a scoring opportunity potentially with that fumble, and so that's why that's on the dislikes list. Got to hold on to the ball if you're Garrett Selleck. Look, you know they're coming after it. There's 3 of those guys around. At some point, you just give yourself up and go down and make sure you hold on to that football because you know they're looking to get it out. And he did not do that. And then you go to the Dolphins' first half dislikes. Controlling Cap's legs. Look, name me one 49ers receiver that you need to be wary of. Name me one of those guys. Anybody? Torrey Smith? Jeremy Curley? Quentin Patton? I can go on and on. Rod Streeter? You afraid of any of those guys? Any of those names? Ring a bell? No, right? So why in the hell are you not keeping a spy? Kiko Alonso, one of these athletic linebackers, why aren't you keeping a spy on Colin Kaepernick? That's what I have. That's what I want to know. The one guy that can hurt you offensively other than Carlos Hyde is Colin Kaepernick. So why aren't you keeping a spy on him, and why are you allowing him to abuse you with his legs? Don't know. Don't ask me. I don't have the answer to that. But I was very disappointed in the way they handled Colin Kaepernick in this game because, again, he's the one guy outside of Carlos Hyde that can hurt you with his legs, and you allowed him to hurt you with his legs throughout this game time and time again. You go to the second half now and the likes in this ball game, and we go back to the San Francisco 49ers, and the defense having a kickoff return on them for 80 yards. The special teams, I should say, gave up a huge kickoff return to Kenyon Drake, which set the Dolphins up in prime real estate. I'm talking the 24-yard line or so, 28-yard line, somewhere around there. And the defense comes out for the 49ers, gets a stop, pushes them backwards. They try a read option. They had a little bit of success with the Dolphins earlier on in the game. Tannehill picked up a huge chunk of yardage. They ran it about 2 or 3 more times. No success. They lose 2 yards on first down. Then they turn around, have a holding penalty, which pushes them back. Then they get a sack, and just like that, they're out of field goal range. So a big ups to that 49ers defense there after the special teams let you down to go out and not surrender a field goal attempt and force them to punt the football away. So that was a big stop there by the 49ers defense. Colin Kaepernick, let's talk about him a little bit more in this ball game because I'm convinced that he is the answer at the quarterback position for the 49ers as long as Chip Kelly is the head coach. If you're going to make a move there, then fine. You can go ahead and start looking and exploring other options. But if Chip Kelly's going to be your guy as the head coach and you're going to move forward with him in that process, then I think Colin Kaepernick is exactly what the doctor ordered at the quarterback position. I don't think you need to spend a first-round pick on a Deshaun Watson type. I don't think you need to spend a first-round pick on a Deshaun Kaiser type. I think you can roll with Colin Kaepernick and build around him and this offense because right now there aren't enough skill guys to get the job done. There aren't enough receivers that scare you. There aren't enough tight ends that scare you. You've got solid options. You don't have great options at either one of those positions, even though I really like Vance McDonald and Garrett Selleck isn't that bad. And even Blake Bell isn't horrible when he's healthy. But again, I'm not sold on the receiver position. You can upgrade. And so, offensive line can be better. And so there are other places, defense, again, there are a number of positions where you can start to go, but you spent enough resources early in the draft on defense the last couple of years that you need to start devoting some of those resources to the offensive side of the football early in the draft. I know you spent a first-round pick on the guard out of Stanford this past draft. Now you need to start spending it on some of those skill guys because as good as Colin Kaepernick can be, he's not going to be as good as he could potentially be. He's not going to maximize his talents if he doesn't have more guys that can make some plays around him. And so I think you need to start looking at that receiver position first and foremost to see if you can't get some help out there. But I tell you what, man, Colin Kaepernick looks good. I was impressed with him in the second half of that Arizona game last week or 2 weeks ago. I thought he did some good things against New England. Thought he did some things against New England where you say, okay, he's still working his way back. And then you see this game, he made some throws in this game. Guys didn't make some catches, and then guys did make some plays. The arm is as live as it's ever been. He still got it. Now you just have to surround him with enough talent to help him win some football games. But you saw the legs, you saw the arms. That last drive of the game, he took his team down the field and gave them a shot. Colin Kaepernick's legit in this offense run by Chip Kelly. I think this is the guy you need to run your offense right here. And his name's Colin Kaepernick. You don't need to look any further than him. And then my final like for them in the second half of this game is the fourth quarter comeback. You're down 31-14. This game is over. You're on the road. Dolphins are riding a 5-game winning streak at this point. They're playing with an abundance of confidence. You're done. You've lost 8 in a row. You're done, right? Wrong. They scored 10 points in the fourth quarter, have the football with a chance late. They're facing a 2nd and 25. They picked that up. They're facing a fourth down. Again, they picked that up. They move it down the field, and with 5 seconds left, they're at the 4 or 5 yard line with a chance. And they almost got in. I mean, that was a miraculous attempt at a comeback there by this 49ers team that could have folded the tent and quit, but they didn't. And I really like what I see from that offense, and I thought the defense got some stops. I thought the Dolphins were over aggressive at times trying to throw it, and I don't have a problem with that. Go for the jugular. It didn't work, and it backfired on them, and they had to pay for it. So it came down to the wire, and the 49ers didn't quit. Much like last week when they were down big at the half to the Cardinals, they made another run of it and got back into the football game, and I can respect that. I can respect it a lot. Miami's second half likes in this game. Kiko Alonso's interception on the first play of the second half, that was huge. Leads to a field goal to go up 17-7. Like I said, good teams find ways to make plays and get points off of turnovers. You would love to have seen them cash that in for 7, but look, get points. And they were able to get 3 there to extend the lead out to 2 scores at 17-7. Making plays, that's what it's all about. Ball gets tipped into the air. Kiko Alonso, Johnny on the spot, picks it off. 80-yard kickoff return to the San Francisco 49ers 24-yard line by Kenyon Drake. He's been dynamic on special teams for them this season. Remember, he had the kickoff return versus the Jets for the go-ahead score in that ball game. So Kenyon Drake has been huge for them on special teams. We know what he's about. We saw him do that at Alabama. Remember the national championship game versus Clemson. He had the big return in that game. So we know what he's about. And you got to get points off of that. You're not allowed to punt after you get the football 1st and 10 from the 49ers 24-yard line. You can't punt. You have to at least attempt a field goal there. You can't go in reverse and end up punting the football. That's not what good teams do right there. Okay, and that could have come back to haunt you. You won this game by a touchdown. You should have at least gotten a field goal. At worst, a field goal attempt on that possession. You cannot go in reverse there. Dolphins talent. Let's talk about this for a second, because this was something that I talked about extensively before the season started, and a lot of people gave me flack. I said the Dolphins offensively are among the most talented football teams in the entire National Football League. I said that. Go back and watch my video when I broke down the AFC East, and you will find that statement somewhere in there. But I talked about the talent on this team. And now you're starting to see it come to fruition. And again, it all starts with the confidence that winning brings and breeds. And now you're seeing guys start to make plays. Devontae Parker, let's start with him. This guy is a freak, all right? He had a touchdown called back, didn't get the second foot down, but that was a hell of a catch. He had another call overturned by replay, where if you go and look at how high this guy is in the air, that is ridiculous, okay? His ability to go and high point the football. If I'm Ryan Tannehill, and sometimes as a quarterback, this can get you in trouble. Go ask Matthew Stafford with Megatron. But if I'm in trouble and I look up and I see number 11, double ace, with one-on-one coverage, 40 yards down the field, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to plant my back foot and I'm going to rip it as far as I can, because this guy can climb the ladder with the best of them in this league and go and make a play. He is so talented when it comes to high pointing the football. If I'm Ryan Tannehill, if I'm Adam Gase, every game, if I get one-on-one, I am throwing it up to the, and maybe even in double coverage, but you got to trust Tannehill to make the best throw possible in that situation. I'm giving Devontae Parker a chance to win a 50-50 ball. This dude is tremendous. That's a huge talent right there. Then you look at Kenny Stills. I thought you got him for a steal from New Orleans. They were having a fire sale, and you went in and said, hey, man, I give you 50 cents for Kenny Stills. Like, you got a deal, man. You got that guy for a hot ham and cheese sandwich that was cold. Does that make any sense to you? This guy's talented. He makes big plays, and so he got a nice touchdown grab in this game. He's talented. Look, I've been talking about Sims, your tight end, and I said if this guy could just stay healthy, if Deion Sims can just stay healthy, he's talented. This guy's like 6'7". Big guy, can run, can catch. Stay healthy, young fella. You can make plays in this offense. And I like Deion Sims, and he was able to box out 2 defenders and catch the football, get in the end zone. That's more talent. Leonte Carew. I said, look, man, that's stealing in the draft right there to get That kind of value in the second round, I think you got him in the late second, maybe early third, wherever they got Leonte Carew. I said, that's stealing because that man is a ball player out of Rutgers. And you saw him catch it. Did you see him muscle that 49ers defender into get your ass in the end zone with me, man? What's wrong with you? More talent on that offense. And I'm not even talking about JL Smooth, Jarvis Landry. I'm not even talking. I didn't even include him in this discussion. More talent. Jay Ajayi, the J Train. I talked about him when he came into the league. I said, man, this dude, if he stays healthy out of Boise, this is some serious talent here. More talent. Kenyon Drake, more talent. Huge kickoff return. They gave him a carry. He popped it for 8. That's more talent. They are littered, literally everywhere with talent. 3 offensive linemen out. They still did a bang-up job versus this 49ers front. This team is loaded. It's all about health. It's all about execution. It's all about making the right plays, but the talent is here. I said it before the season started. I meant what I said, and you're starting to see it come to fruition. These guys all made plays in this game. There's talent littered all over that Dolphins offense. And you could go ahead and go to the defensive side, more talent on that side of the football as well. And then Ryan Tannehill. Got to give some props to Ryan Tannehill. 20 of 30 for 290 yards and some change. 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, whatever it was. No interceptions. That's always the big number for me. He had 1 boneheaded throw in this game, but it didn't cost him. That's always my big issue with him. Don't turn it over, Ryan. Don't turn it over. And he didn't turn it over. And I labeled him as a game manager earlier in the season. I said, look, I think Adam Gase has figured it out. He's not going to ask him to do much. That was some BS. Adam Gase trusts him, and they're doing more things with him. They're asking him to make some more risky throws. They're asking him to be the leader of this football team, and he's starting to oblige. And again, it all starts with that confidence that I talked about that comes from winning, and winning, building that confidence, and then the confidence feeding the winning. It all goes full circle, and you're seeing that with Ryan Tannehill. He's playing the best football of his career. It's not even close, okay? He's never had a stretch like this throughout his career where he's been this good and his team has been winning football games. And I don't think it's a coincidence that he's getting more protection up front from his offensive line, and that unit is starting to gel together. Even though they had 3 guys out on the offensive line, I thought they did a really good job of protecting him in this game. And they're utilizing his mobility. I've been screaming the same thing I'm talking about with Blake Bortles right now. I've been screaming with Ryan Tannehill for the last 2 or 3 years. He's got to run more, and they ran him in this game. I thought that they overdid it at times, but he's got to use his legs. He's so tired. There was one run. He gets flushed out of the pocket. Looks like he's going to get run out of bounds for about a 2 or 3 yard loss. And he tight ropes the sidelines and runs for a damn first down. He's athletic. Use your legs. If it's not there, don't force it. Run. If it's not what you like, run. Don't force it. Don't throw a pick. Run. That's what he's doing. That's the difference. That's why he's playing the best football of his career. Not to mention, he's got a capable run game, and the offensive line is protecting him. I told you, the talent, the weapons, they're all there. It's up to him to make the right decisions. He's doing that, and that's why this Dolphins team is on a 6-game winning streak right now. Let's get to the dislikes in this game. Second half, we go to the 49ers. Cap throwing the interception, first play of the third quarter. Half of that is on him. Half of it is on his guy for not coming down with the football. Good play by the Dolphin defender to knock it into the air, and Kiko Alonso being there to pick it off. But Cap throws a tough football. He throws a hard football with hot sauce to go. And if you're not ready to catch it, a lot of those footballs are going to end up in the air. And you know how it goes in this league. If footballs end up in the air, a lot of times they end up being picked off. Giving up the 80-yard kickoff return to Kenyon Drake, you can't do that. You're not good enough on the road against a team that's hot to give that up. You're not good enough to give that up, period, but especially against a team at home riding a 5-game winning streak, that's not a good thing to give up. And luckily enough for you, the defense rose to the occasion and forced them to punt anyway, but don't do that. Poor angle by Antoine Bethea on the Kenny Stills touchdown. Come on, man. That was too easy. After you just got the overturned catch by Devontae Parker nullified, and so now it's 3rd and long, you give that up to Kenny Stills. Really, you take a poor angle there, and you allow him to walk into the end zone from about 32 yards out. Come on. You're a veteran. You know better than that. Either you're going to pick that off, or you got to take the proper angle and knock him out of bounds there. You cannot gamble and take a poor angle and allow him to walk into the end zone. Come on, bruh. Come on. Let's get to the Dolphins and their dislikes in the second half. The wasted kickoff return. I've already harped on that, but I'll say it once more. You can't waste that kind of field position. The 24-yard line, are you serious? Are you kidding me? I know teams around the league that would kill to get the football at the 24-yard line. Here you are getting an 80-yard kickoff return, and you don't want the field position. You give it back. Come on, man. Got to use that and get something. Field goal, touchdown, something. Something's better than nothing. You didn't even get a field goal attempt. That can't happen. And then my final dislike, too close for comfort. You were up 31-14 in the fourth quarter. What are we doing here, guys? This is a team on an 8-game losing streak. Put these boys away. Put them away. And some of the play calling, a little head scratching, but again, I don't fault a team for being aggressive. Keep your foot down on the gas pedal. I will get more upset at a team that will hand it off 3 times and punt than I will a team that will come out and throw it on first down like the Dolphins did and ended up going 3 and out. But you got to put them away. 31-14 at the crib. Your fan base should not be at the house, biting their nails, edge of their seat, heart beating through their damn chest, heart in their throat, because they got to stop Colin Kaepernick at the 2-yard line to preserve the victory. No, that's not how this game was supposed to end. Not when you're up 17 in the fourth quarter. Find a way to put a 1-10 team away. Put them away. In any event, you did put them away. It just wasn't the way you were supposed to. But you get the win, 31-24. Run your record to 7-4. Almost got some help from the Jets, but you can't rely on a 3-8 team to do nothing for you. So the Patriots still remain 2 games ahead of you in the standings at 9-2. You're at 74. But look, you got a gift. Dolphins win, you win, and the Denver Broncos lose. So now you take their place in 6th place in the AFC wildcard race. It's going to be tough to hold on to that position because the Denver Broncos, I think, are going to find a way in. But you got a shot. That's all you can. So you're telling me there's a chance. Yeah, you're damn right. I'm telling you there's a chance. And when you were left for dead at 1-4, there wasn't a chance. But after 6 straight wins, I'm starting to believe, man. I'm pulling that Dolphins juice out of the fridge. I still haven't taken a sip yet because I've been let down late in seasons in Buffalo versus the Jets with this Dolphins team. I think you still got to go to Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken, which has been a house of horrors for you late in seasons. But I'm not taking a sip yet. But I got the cup in my hand. This Dolphins juice is nice and cold, and I think it's a really tasty beverage. If I could just take a sip. I'm not buying it just yet, but I'm telling you right now, man, they're selling me week after week. Tannehill's playing well. The defense starting to respond. I'm starting to become a believer in what I'm seeing from this Dolphins football team. Let's get to your comments. See what we got. Besides his touchdown, do you think the J Train is slowing down because his 45 yards against the worst run defense in the league is well, you also have to remember 3 guys not starting on your offensive line is not going to create a lot of holes for you. It's going to be hard to run when you don't have the continuity you need up front. Yes, the 49ers stink against the run. They've been a little bit better of late, but you not having, I think this was more of you not having your starting offensive lineman than it was anything that the J Train did. But again, he is going to slow down. Remember, this is not college football. He had a ton of carries at Boise, a lot of touches, but this is a 16-game slate, so he may start to slow down a bit, but I think he still got fresh enough legs. I don't think this was indicative of him more so than the offensive line and the lack of continuity up front with guys starting in place of your starters. SoFlo Sports says, them throwbacks, though, I told you they're the prettiest throwbacks in the game. Right now, I don't think anybody can touch them, man. I've talked about them when you wore them the first time this season. They don't get much better than those throwbacks, man. Straight up. I really think that should be your jersey. Go back to those because they're so dope. But anyway, in any event, Disco Jump Rope says, do you think the Dolphins could keep that second wild card? Sure they can. Anything's possible. I'm not banking on it. I think the Dolphins are going to move out of that spot and give way back to the Dolphins or to the Denver Broncos. I think 3 teams are coming out of that AFC West, but I'm telling you, as the weeks pass, I'm believing more and more in this Dolphins team, but I'm not sold quite yet. So I'm going to reserve judgment, but I'm still leaning towards the Denver Broncos right now. SoFlo Sports says Carew was picked in like the 4th round, I think. I know he was a steal. I don't think it was the 4th round, but it may be the 4th round. I thought it was the 3rd round that you got him in because you had to trade up to get him. In any event, Leonte Carew is a steal, period. I said that when you got him, and I still feel that way. And this team is loaded with talent. I'll tell you that much right now. But let's keep going. I missed a whole bunch of comments, I think. So let's get back to the top. My man Andrew Kim, AK, says, Niners need a franchise QB. Cap isn't the answer next year, right? I know he's been playing better the past month, but still. I told you how I feel about Cap. I've said everything I have to say about that issue. I like him, and I think he can be the answer there. If Chip Kelly's your head coach, I think Colin Kaepernick can be your quarterback. That's how I feel about that. AK says, Dolphins coming into hot Baltimore next week. Could the Ravens shut down Jay Ajayi and have a shot against his team? Absolutely. And I think they're going to shut down Jay Ajayi, especially if they're still banged up along that offensive line. That Ravens front, no joke. They're going to be able to stop the run. I still think the Dolphins can win that game. You know why? Because the Ravens don't score points. So that's going to be a fascinating game because that could prove to be an elimination game of sorts. Now, it doesn't matter if you win or lose this game for either team. You're not eliminated from the playoff race, obviously. But I look at it like this. I still expect the Steelers to take that AFC North division. And I still expect the Dolphins to find their way out of the playoffs. So, in effect, I think that the loser of this game could be in some serious trouble. That's going to be a big game. And the Dolphins need it. I know they've run 6 in a row, but they need it because it is starting to become a jumbled mess at the back end of that AFC wildcard picture. There are so many teams involved. Dolphins are involved. Broncos are involved. Ravens are involved. Steelers are involved. The Bills are involved. There are so many teams. Even the Chargers are like, hey, don't forget about us, even though they're kind of far back. Titans are involved. Texans are involved. It's getting messy, and if you lose a game, you allow other teams to crawl back in and have a shot. So that's up for grabs. It's anybody's guess, but the Dolphins have just as good a shot as anybody to secure that spot. SoFlo Sports says, holy hell, this game scared me, but at least we are in the wild card, baby. Absolutely. It shouldn't have been that close at the end. I said that already, but you found a way to win, and that's all that matters. And I read off the rest of those comments. And then Disco Jump Rope says, it seems like the defense is playing better without Rashad Jones. Is that just a coincidence? It may be, but when you have a player like Rashad Jones, sometimes they tend to freelance because they're so good they can get away with it. And sometimes it puts other players in compromising positions. That may have been the case with Rashad Jones, may not have been the case with him. But sometimes when other guys come in, you're more disciplined, you're more gap disciplined. Guys play their positions because what those guys realize is I'm not Rashad Jones. I can't freelance. I can't be 5 yards out of position. I can't come down and cheat and try to read quarterback's eyes and keep quarterback's eyes and make a play. I got to stay where the hell I'm supposed to be because if I make a mistake, they're going to yank my ass out of the game. So I got to make sure I do what the coaches tell me to do. So when you get a guy like Thomas in there at safety or Bakari Rambo, they realize I better play my spot or else I'll be on the damn bench and I could be 1 or 2 bad plays and mistakes away from being out of the league. So sometimes when you have backups in, you do get more sound play out of, you don't get as many plays being made, but you do get more sound play because those guys are a little bit more gap responsible, a little bit more detail oriented in terms of doing what they're supposed to do, less hero ball and more team football. And that's what defense a lot of times is all about. So maybe a coincidence, may not be a coincidence. We'll see what happens there, but you would definitely like to have Rashad Jones healthy. That is for certain. In any event, that's going to do it for this installment of Lockdown Coverage. Dolphins get the win, 31-24, run their record to 7-4, and are now, as of today, your number 6 seed in the AFC playoffs right now. As far as the 49ers are concerned, they lose another heartbreaker down to the 2-yard line, can't get in. They now have lost 10 straight after winning the first game in a shutout over the Rams. They're now 1-10 on the season, but I think they might have found something at the quarterback position. You may not agree, you may disagree, whatever the case may be. I like Colin Kaepernick as the quarterback of a Chip Kelly-led offense. In any event, it's going to do it for me here. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie Tee Network in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. You know what time it is. We're changing the game one live feed at a time. I'll be back. Cardinals, Falcons. I'll be back with Rams and Saints. I'll be back with Bucks and Seahawks to wrap up the slate of Sunday games. So come back and join me a little bit later on. I will see you then. Have a good one.